Good morning. Another quiet Sunday, but it's all business as usual. Next Saturday and Sunday, you can see the contrast. A lot more confident. Serie A, Bundesliga, French Ligue 1, Premier League, all next Sunday. Got North London Derby as well. Fantastic stuff. Next Saturday as well. So just be patient. From my personal perspective, I don't enjoy trading the international break. But you'll find the odd gem, the odd rather obvious play, which I hope you picked up on because it was a late kick-off for me at least. Portugal-Scotland. Scott McTominay scoring first. You've always got in the back of your mind that 0-2 win against Spain, that they could pull it off, the Scots. But this is where the in-play stats come in. Very handy. And it's like it was scripted, wasn't it, really? Bruno Fernandes, and then a very late winner from guess who? Cristiano Ronaldo. So eminently gettable, a Scottish lead. I hope you found that out for yourself. Elsewhere, nothing doing. Even a Spanish red card couldn't stop them beating Switzerland, which is a very good sign for Spain, if not for the Swiss. If you're still scoring 2 goals after being red carded for 70 minutes, then you're not doing too wrong. Elsewhere, very tough set of fixtures. Another competent win from the Swedes following the Azerbaijan win, which was actually second half goals. This was all first half goals. But they're full of goals when they're meeting the lower tier sides, the Swedes. So it looks as if the market gets them right. Late action, Gibraltar and Liechtenstein. And in Spanish La Liga 2, I don't think there was anything doing there yesterday either. Let's see if we can find Spanish La Liga 2. Mirandas and Ferrol 0-0. Levante, nothing doing at all. Absolutely nothing. It's just the way it is. International break. Moving on to today. And African Cup of Nations will get some interest. Senegal, one of the highest ranked African countries, odds on favourites against Burundi. That's the standout match there. Morocco, 1.08 shots. It's going to show you the relationship between the odds and the amount of goals scored, 1.08. In the Nations League, France against Belgium has a touch of derby-style match about it. 2 of the big guns. Interesting to see Les Frogs as odds-on favourite here. Israel against Italy. Well, Italy are coming off the back of what was an unexpected win. Really was. Against France. 1-3 win for the Italians. Very impressive indeed. No red card involved there either, I don't think. So, on merit, Fratesi, Raspadori and Di Marco. So watch out for the Italians. They might be followable. Montenegro and Wales got that equaliser. I think it was Montenegro, wasn't it? Or was it Moldova? No, wrong one. Against the Faroe Islands. It was side beginning with M. Norway against Austria, too tough to call. 2.25 the favourite. Slovenia and Kazakhstan. Again, one of the minnows, the Kazakhs. Is that the reason to take them on? Slovenia, 1-1 draw against Austria. 1-0 loss to Portugal in the Euros. They look competent defensively, don't they? We saw this with Colchester the other day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches in all competitions without conceding. 7 matches, 8 matches in all competitions without conceding that second goal. We'll open the door up when Borat's boys, or if Borat's boys, Yek Shemesh, score first. Very nice, sexy time, etc., etc. So I would be looking at that potential angle, Slovenia and Kazakhstan, an ability to not concede that second goal for the Slovenians could set them up nicely. Turkey, at their very best, one of the dark horses I thought for the Euros, but didn't quite get off the winning line. But they look competent enough. A 0-0 against Wales, but they have been scoring and conceding against the bigger guns, Czech Republic, Austria and the Netherlands. Iceland themselves, much of a muchness really, the Dutch beating them. The Ukrainians beat them. They lost, and they beat England 0-1 in a friendly, and the 2-0 win against Montenegro. Did the Icelandics have a good defensive record? I'm not too sure. It'll be tested today. 1.25 Romania is the other standout. Again, another minnow. Are they gettable? These minnow sides like Lithuania, Kazakhstan, are they gettable? Under 21 football today will get some interest. 2 odds on favourites. North Macedonia, that was a aim I was looking for earlier on, that equaliser against Faroe Islands. And the Dutch under 21s, very good competition for in-play stats. It looks a typical old Monday coup on this, doesn't it? And we've got the Spanish La Liga too. You can have a look at what kind of a mood these sides are in. The best snapshot to have is if FC Stats is working. Go over to Spanish Segunda B, which is down here, and just have a look at the head-to-heads. Very, very early in the season, which puts a dampener on reading the matches. As you can see, huge gaps in the challenge table there. So you can see an Eibar unbeaten, tending to concede 2 goals at least against the early season form sides, and we're only talking a small sample of matches. So being 3rd and 4th at this stage of the season is a bit of an irrelevance. It just means you've got off to a good start. And you can see that Eibar did lose to Malaga away. There's very little for us to get into, is basically the story there. Castellón and Cadiz. Cadiz, newly relegated, will, I hope, grab your attention. Are they going to dominate this particular match? Well, these two have not got off to a good start. Cadiz are yet to win. A couple of score draws and a big loss against Zaragoza. A couple of failings to score for Castellón, who could be newly promoted. You can check that out here. Just looking at which league they were playing in last season. Castellón, PO, newly promoted. Cadiz, newly relegated. And that excellent PDF from Anthony will help you looking at newly promoted and newly relegated teams. So that will immediately grab my attention with, for me, possible bias towards the newly promoted side versus the newly relegated side. Sorry, bias towards the newly relegated side coming from the better league, playing a newly promoted side coming from a weaker league. So Cadiz, despite not being favourite, might garner my attention there. Arguably my day off today, but I think personally I will be around particularly for the early kickoffs. So we're talking certainly Senegal will grab the eye early on. Ghana, well-known side. Morocco, the North African powerhouses, look worthy of our attention today. Nations League, it's a typical coupon, not too difficult as far as Italy and the Slovenians is concerned. Can we just take on these minnows? Montenegro, no, they're not really minnows. Kazakhstan would be more in keeping with that, and Lithuania. Are these minnows instantly gettable? Under 21s, readable. So I might be up and about 12 o'clock, 6 p.m. my time for Gibraltar, North Macedonia. As ever, my day off on a Monday, but I didn't do much yesterday. I'm quite happy. Well, I'm not staying up for the 7:45s for you on my day off. That's 2:45, 1:45 a.m. start for me. So the later kickoffs won't appeal. The early kickoffs will. If there is anything, I will pass it on, but don't expect too much today. don't expect too much this week. We're going to have the hiatus now this week, and then we're going to have the transition from international football back to league football. So we've got international football on Tuesday. Africans and the Asians are back. Very readable. Or no, they weren't very readable last time, were they, the Asians? How many odds-on favourites didn't win in Asian World Cup qualifying? So just be very wary. We've got every single away team is an odds-on favourite. The onus will be on Australia to do something here, having lost their last match to an own goal. Indonesia and 1.6 suggests something is up with the Aussies. Are they sending their breakdancing team to play Indonesia? Because they've drifted 1.29 to 1.6. You'd expect them to be 1.29, but that's very interesting, isn't it? North Korea, Kim Jong-un is playing on his own against Qatar. He scored 148 goals in the first half of his last match, the great leader. So we're expecting him to aim for at least 200 goals on his own today in what should be a glorious win for North Korea. South Korea, another side to disappoint at odds-on favourites last time. Japan, no problem at all, full of goals. So it's a tough one. The market's not getting these internationals correct from an Asian perspective. That's Tuesday, so it looks competitive on Tuesday. Wednesday is where we start splitting up now. As you can see, we're returning to international, returning to cup matches, and internationals are taking a back seat. Premier League Cup, majority of cup matches, as you can see, in the transition back to league football, which will begin on Friday, I would suspect. So this is, again, it's going to be a quiet one on Thursday. It's going to be a quiet one on Wednesday as well. This is the transition back to the mayhem, which we know and love. Saint-Etienne on Friday. Dortmund against Heidenheim. Did Dortmund win their opener? I think they had a bit of a slip-up last match, didn't they? With a draw against Werder Bremen, failing to score as well. I bailed out of that one because of the Dortmund red card. Sometimes you have to take a loss. Heidenheim, well, they'll be absolutely delighted with 2 clean sheet wins to 0. So this could be a fascinating fixture. Betis and Leganes, I would be favouring the home side here on paper. So it's good to see this lot back. And we're probably going to have the Irish with us as usual on a Friday. And the Netherlands, Eerste Divisie, the Goalfest League as well. Saturday is when it gets very, very busy. Great to see all of these leagues back. And don't forget, this is post-international, so there might be some fatigue from some of these major teams who have the vast proportion of their players on international duty. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea perhaps. So watch out for sides who have their sides on international duty. Manchester United, let's hope they're not playing in a grey uniform away at Southampton. Those odds look big. Southampton don't look to have started the Premier League very strongly at all. Brighton, on the other hand, will be licking their lips against Ipswich. May just crush them goals-wise. Crystal Palace are yet to find their goal-scoring form after the back end of last season under the new manager. He will be concerned a little. There's an inability to score that second goal. But this is a newly promoted Leicester. Could give Palace the opening that they need to get the first win of the season. Liverpool continue to be very strong favourites at home, as indeed do Manchester City. Aston Villa and Everton, I would be looking at Aston Villa, but there must be a reaction from Everton to conceding now 10 goals in the last 3 matches. We made 136 quid in the last Everton match, taking on their 2-0 lead. Bournemouth and Chelsea could be a tighter clash, and it's a local derby for Marseille. So great to see Saturday and Sunday as solid as ever. Looks like the US Open might be finishing or has finished. So I hope you were able to follow that yourself. And Yannick Sinner. Well, I'm surprised I didn't see any more from Taylor Fritz, but I was certainly late. Sinner 2-0 up. Taylor Fritz's reputation for me is outstanding as far as being a battler, but obviously the ranking differential here far too strongly in favour of the Cinnamon. So day off today, but it's a transition week back to league football, which is what I love and I make most of my money on. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.